Welcome to our parent presentation about sexting and online predators. I'm Kathy Wynn. Sarah Thompson and I are prevention specialists for the School District of Lee County. Knowing the advantages and disadvantages of internet-enabled devices and apps which your children may use is important. As parents, we want to ensure that our kids stay safe from the risks and threats associated with the use of any technology. It's best to have an internet safety talk with your child even before they get their own device.
Have you had an internet safety talk with your kid yet? Don't delay it. Help them make the right choices once they get online. Here's a short checklist to prepare you for the talk. Explain why safe behavior matters. Give relatable examples of what personal information is and stress why you can never share this information with strangers. For instance, sharing your family's vacation pictures on social media is a clear sign nobody's at home, so the bad guys may use this information to rob your house. Teach them about social media and messaging. Keep in mind that most of the social media platforms are for kids at least 13 years old. If you teach your child not to talk to strangers, teach them not to accept friend requests from people they don't know or send them pictures. Manage privacy settings. Sit together and adjust their social media settings to make sure your kid's profile is as safe and private as possible. Help them set up their profile without personal information. Keep in mind that using social media logins to authorize apps isn't safe behavior. Create strong passwords together. Complex and unique passwords will protect your children's accounts from snoopers. Remind them that the password should not be shared with anyone except parents. Explain the dangers of free public Wi-Fi. Public networks lack proper protection, so hackers can easily access sensitive information. If you know your children won't resist the temptation to get free internet, keeping a VPN connected is a good idea. For more tips on online safety, don't forget to subscribe to the NordVPN YouTube channel.
Kids are receiving their first smartphone earlier and earlier, which means they have access to the internet at a younger age. Smartphone ownership has grown substantially over the past 4 years among children of all ages. 41% of 8 to 12-year-olds have a smartphone, and 84% of 13 to 18-year-olds have one. A smartphone is an excellent safety tool. Your child can use it to let you know they safely reached their destination, call you for a ride, or call in case of an emergency. You can also use the GPS on their phone to track their location. Knowing that you can always reach your child is a tremendous peace of mind for a parent. However, smartphones can also be misused and, in some situations, can make children vulnerable. And although smartphone use is on the rise, among young people with their own mobile device, only about 28% of tweens say their parents use a tool to track the time they spend on their device. And only 14% of teens say their parents use a tool to track the time they spend on their device. Parents appear to be more interested in what their children are doing on their devices than how much time they are spending on them. 50% of tweens and 26% of teens say their parents monitor what they do on their devices. These percentages also imply that parents monitor their tweens more closely than their teens. However, children of all ages are vulnerable to online risks.
There are several concerns about social media. In our first video, we talked about inappropriate content. Today, we will discuss sexting and online predators. Sexting or sex texting is sending or receiving sexually explicit or suggestive images, messages, or video on a smartphone or other internet-enabled device like a laptop or tablet. Sexting is more prevalent than parents might think. parent wants to think that their child would sext someone. However, it is a concern that should be addressed with your child. A 2018 study showed that sexting has become more common among adolescents. Among those aged 12 to 17, at least 1 in 7 are sending sext, and at least 1 in 4 teens are receiving sexually explicit text and emails. In this same study, more than 1 in 10 teens reported forwarding sext without consent, and about 1 in 12 teens have had sext which they have sent forwarded without their consent. Sexting can start at a very early age.
All right, Tram. Parents, if your child has a smartphone or if you are getting them one for Christmas, this is important. New data from the parenting app called JIMINY says that more than 1/3 of kids they tested who have smartphones have had some experience with sexting by the age of 13. It might be hard to believe and hard to hear. Team 12's Erica Stapleton has some advice on how you can talk to your kids and also keep track of their phones.
I get calls every day about my child stumbled on porn or my child received this inappropriate photo, and nothing surprises me.
Not even this new report from parenting app JIMINY, saying that 1 in 7 children owning a smartphone will have sent or received a sexual message by age 10, and that almost 40% of children had some experience with sexting by age 13. Katie McPherson is a former school administrator turned child advocate, and she's seen firsthand that sexting can start as early as 8 years old.
We're giving them a medium to explore their sexuality, just like we did when we played Spin the Bottle. This is Spin the Bottle on steroids with 4 billion strangers.
McPherson says it's not a matter of if your child will receive an explicit message, it's when. And it's not just strangers you have to worry about. The JIMINY report says that nearly 60% of all sexting is mutual, like classmate to classmate.
I've had so many students really truly lose reputation, self-esteem. Their body has traveled around a high school in less than 30 seconds.
Plus, sending nude photos can be a crime in Arizona. Punishment depends on body parts exposed, consent, and the ages involved.
At the minimum, it's a misdemeanor and a petty offense.
McPherson says the best way to prevent a situation you'd want your family to avoid is to talk to your kids early on about their bodies and the dangers of sharing things over text and online. Because once a message is sent, it's out there forever.
They need that emotional blueprint to really know what to do next, and they need to know they can come to us as adults and that we're not going to freak out.
McPherson also recommends that parents use apps like Bark to identify red flags on their kids' phones. You can get that information plus some other tools on how to talk to your kids on 12news.com or on our 12 News app. Erica Stapleton, 12 News.
Even though the school district of Lee County cannot endorse a particular app, the JIMINY and Bark apps mentioned in the video are 2 options for parents to monitor their child's cell phone use. They can alert you about what your child is doing online. Some of the reasons why teens sext are curiosity. Teens are, by nature, sexually curious, but according to a study published in the Journal of Pediatrics, teens who sext are at increased risk of becoming sexually active a year later. Peer pressure is another reason to express love, and teens are often unaware of the consequences. The part of the brain responsible for impulse control is still developing in teens.
In the state of Florida, sexting by a minor is a violation of statute 847.0141. The first violation can be punishable by a citation, community service, a fine, or participation in a cybersecurity program. However, minors who receive a picture or video depicting nudity are not in violation if they did not solicit the picture or video, took reasonable steps to report it, and did not transmit or distribute it to a third party. Besides being against the law, sexting can also have devastating repercussions.
You know I'm sneaking out.
About 8:30, man. Oh, it's too early, are you? All right, 9 o'clock the party. 9:15. 9. I heard it was 2 a.m. Hey, check this out. That's cool. Yo, what up? Whoa. Nice, oh, man. Yo, send that to me real quick. I'm not going to... Come on, send that to me.
Man, you a pimp.
Yo, you a
full screen. Look at that, boys. Check that out, boys. I gotta. I had to send this to Mark.
Send that out now.
Once a sext is sent, you no longer control who sees it. A 2019 study by Florida Atlantic University and the University of Wisconsin-Eau Claire showed that 63.9% of students who were asked to send a sext by a current boyfriend or girlfriend complied. And surprisingly, the study also showed that 43% of students still complied even when asked to send a sext by someone who was not a current romantic partner. Parents should make it clear that there will be consequences if their child is caught sexting. They should talk openly about personal responsibility, personal boundaries, and how to resist peer pressure. Explain early and often that a sent image or message can't be taken back. Teach kids to follow the WWGT rule. What would grandma think? This video discusses how certain apps that children may have on their phone could be a concern.
We all learned about stranger danger, but these days it's harder for kids to tell who is and isn't dangerous, especially when they're using phones or tablets.
In this News 5 original, Jesse Schultz breaks down what apps you should be looking for on your child's phone.
I'm sitting here at my desk in Cleveland, but with this, I can connect to anyone in the world. It's amazing, but it's also part of the danger that comes with these apps that are seemingly innocent and are geared towards kids. Shelby Poplotsky is a pretty involved parent to her 8 and 12-year-old daughters. And like most, she lets them use phones and tablets. Her youngest, Sophia, likes to play games on apps like Minecraft and Roblox.
Recently, she told me that another player said that he loved her, and I told her, don't give him any information, don't tell them your name.
That's when the reality of this fantasy world set in.
I don't like the fact that people can interact with them that may pose as another child.
And I found it's all too easy to do just that on these apps. Most of the popular ones ask for your age. You have to be at least 13, but there's no verification. Take, for instance, the app Yubo. It's like a Tinder for teenagers. The app says it's to make friends, but we set up a fake account, said we were 14, and were bombarded with teens and kids in our area that we could talk to. Here's some other ones to look out for. The Whisper app. It's an anonymous way for people to post secrets. And you can also see secrets from people nearby. Anyone can comment or talk to the users. Ask FM is similar to Whisper, but users can ask anonymous questions and get answers. It's largely used for cyberbullying. Experts say the best thing parents can do is have open communication with their kids, something Poplotsky says is important to her.
Make sure they know it's okay if they come across something. I can't prevent them from saying everything, hearing everything, but if they have questions, obviously come to me. I can kind of explain things better, help them to understand.
There are some apps you can download that will help you monitor your kids' phone time. Family Time, Web Watcher, and Famigo are just a few. I've also posted some more apps that could pose a threat to your kids' safety on our News 5 app. Reporting in Cleveland, Jesse Schultz, News 5.
It is important that parents are aware of any apps their child may be using.
Parents must be particularly cautious of the dangerous side of the internet because both girls and boys are at risk of being victimized by online predators.
It happened to me 5 years ago. My parents were divorcing and things in school and with friends weren't too good. I felt like the world was falling down around me. That's when I met someone online. We would chat about everything in my life. I finally had someone to take my side and see things my way. I had someone who put me first. No matter how much I thought we could trust each other, I knew better than to meet in person with someone I had met on the internet. But one day, when school was dismissed early, there was someone waiting for me at my front door. I never thought I'd find myself in this situation. I learned the hard way that no matter who you think you're talking to online, there are people out there looking to hurt you. It doesn't matter if they're male or female, or if they look a little rough around the edges, or even if they're the most beautiful person. These people exist, online and in the real world.
It happened to me too. I was 14 and someone online sent me a private message. I shouldn't have responded, but I messaged back and 7 days later, agreed to be picked up outside of my house at midnight. I was taken to another house and what happened there was terrifying. I'll remember it for the rest of my life. I felt numb and powerless and didn't know what to do. I was too afraid to tell my parents and ashamed of what everyone would think of me. But hiding it was a mistake. I saw the car that I was taking and driving around my neighborhood all summer long. Was I being targeted again, or was someone else being victimized? I finally decided to tell someone.
I have to live with the decision I made to trust someone I met on the internet.
But the important thing is that I told someone. I'm not a victim, but a survivor.
Most contact with online predators happens in chat rooms, on social media, and in the chat feature of multiplayer games. Predators tend to target kids who post revealing pictures, divulge past sexual abuse, and/or engage in sexual talk online. Research shows that 12 to 15-year-olds are most at risk. Some ways that parents can minimize the risk of their child becoming a victim of an online predator are to utilize privacy settings and monitor online behavior, messaging, and pictures. You should also place the computer in a common area, keep screen names anonymous, and always have access to your child's email. It can be difficult to know how to start talking to your child about what they're doing online. Some ways to make having these conversations with your child easier are to find a good time and place. Try to choose a good moment. Pick an opportunity when you know you're not going to be interrupted and you are both going to feel comfortable and have enough time. And think about how you're going to introduce the subject. You could mention a recent news story or just explain why you would like to talk to them about something. You should also listen more than you talk, asking them open-ended questions like, "What do you think about?" And remembering to give them time to answer will help. And be loving and supportive. The most difficult conversations can be made easier if your child understands that you care about them, and whatever the outcome, you'll be there for them. Good resources for parents are Common Sense Media and NetSmarts. They both promote safe technology and media for children. Thank you for watching, and be sure to look for our other social media videos where we cover inappropriate content and cyberbullying. If you have any questions regarding this video or the information in it, please do not hesitate to contact us. Here is our contact information.